Welcome to the Lisa Berigan On Demand podcast. When you think of rock icons, and specifically women rock icons, it doesn't get much bigger than Ann Wilson of Heart. She has rocked for decades. She's a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. She and Sister Nancy have been playing together most of their lives, close to 50 years with Heart. I asked her what the plans are for a 50th anniversary celebration in 2023. Also talked about her brand new album, Fierce Bliss, coming out at the end of April. The first single rocks. It's a song called Greed. I absolutely love it. And all the really cool collaborations on this Fierce Bliss album. Kenny Wayne Shepherd plays on a couple songs. Warren Haynes. We talk about her new band, which smokes, and when she's going to be coming to D.C., because she is going to be out there doing some tour dates with her new band. Also, we dove into the big news that broke this week. Nancy Wilson is taking Heart on the road and calling it Nancy Wilson's Heart. So Heart without Ann Wilson, which Ann and I both agree you really shouldn't be calling it Heart. But she had an interesting take on that. Plus, what it's been like for Ann Wilson being a trailblazer and an inspiration to women in the music industry. And of course, I could not say goodbye without asking her about that legendary performance she did in D.C. at the Kennedy Center Honors when she performed Led Zeppelin. All that and much more, my conversation with Ann Wilson of Heart. Ann,
Hi.
how are ya?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. And congratulations on the new album, Fierce Bliss.
Well, thank you. Thanks a lot.
It's due out April 29th, and it sounds like the pandemic's been a very creative time for you.
Oh, and yes, indeed. Just looking out the window, I came up with a few songs. Yeah.
Well, I love the first single, Greed. The song rocks. Can you tell us a little bit about that song?
Yeah, it's just a little poem I had that talking about wanting more all the time, and how like one of the seven deadly sins seems to be present in all of us at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got like a rockin' track going, and it just fit really well.
Definitely an aggressive song. I've heard you say before that you write better when you're angry. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I think so. I think that when I get into an angry state, I don't tend to criticize my own work as much. Like I can leave the critic outside the door and just go direct to the page. And that's a real valuable thing.
This new album, Fierce Bliss, you collaborate with a lot of different people. I see Kenny Wayne Shepherd plays on a few songs. Who else did you work with on the album, and what was the whole experience like for you?
Well, I've also got Warren Haynes from Government Mule on the album, on 2 songs. I've got a whole bunch of great players from my band, Tom Bukovac, Tony Lucido, Sean T. Lane, and Paul Moak, Gordon Moat, and Tim Lauer. I mean, and Vince Gill. So it's just like a really great bunch of high-level players that they came to my band, and I don't tell them what to play. So they're not just being session players; they're actually doing their own thing, which I encourage.
Cool.
And it's a beautiful thing. They're great musicians.
Well, Ann, I see you're going to be hitting the road with your new band, The Amazing Dogs. I don't see a Washington, D.C. date yet, but are there more tour dates coming? Is there a chance we're going to see you in D.C.?
Oh, yeah, there are more. The closest we've been we played Annapolis last fall.
Oh, okay.
But we need to get closer. I know we do. Yeah, there's more dates coming all the time.
Excellent. And you've been a part of Heart since 1973. So is there going to be anything special next year for the 50th anniversary?
Oh, yes. Yes, there will be. It's very, I'm not at liberty to talk about it yet because it's still in the planning stages. But yes, there'll be a thing for sure.
I'm hoping, box sets, and will you tour with Heart next year?
I hope so. we're just in the process of figuring out who the band is.
Well, I see that Nancy's going out on the road as Nancy Wilson's Heart. I can't imagine anybody but you singing those iconic Heart songs. But what are your feelings about Nancy's Heart tour?
I think that by calling it Heart, she moves into kind of like a tribute band phase. But I'm happy that she gets to go out and have the fulfilling experience of being out there playing. It's really good for musicians to get out there away from their mother band and stretch out. So I'm really happy about that. Because that's the same thing I'm doing too. So when we do get back together, we'll both have a lot more to bring to Heart than before.
Well, you and Nancy have both been such trailblazers for so many women. Are things better for women in the music industry in 2022 than when you were first breaking in, or is it more of the same?
No, without a doubt, things are better. I think that more respect is being given to women. I think that we're in a phase where being a woman is a real door opener, and that's the opposite of how it was at first. It was like if you were a woman, you were really a second-class citizen in the music industry. Nowadays, they're like managers, attorneys, publicists, great women in every part of the industry, and not just the artists. So it's becoming more and more equalized, and I really like to see that.
Here in D.C., and we host the Kennedy Center Honors every year, and one of the performances over the years that people continue to talk about is 2012, you performing Led Zeppelin. Such a great moment. What do you remember about that night?
Oh, I just remember feeling really starry-eyed because there were so many big celebrities there that I really admired. Jeff Beck, Bonnie Raitt, Buddy Guy, David Letterman, Dustin Hoffman, Yo-Yo Ma. Well, of course, President Obama and his wife Michelle, the guys from Led Zeppelin. It was just like a really star-packed audience. And wandering around backstage was just magical. Like you saw everybody. So that night, I just remember doing a lot of breathing, keeping calm, and just taking it all in. It was magical.
Do you get starstruck?
Oh yes, of course.
Who were you most starstruck by that night? You mentioned all those huge celebrities.
Well, it might have been. Let's see, who was I the most starstruck by? Wow, impossible to say.
Okay.
There were just so many cool people there. I think maybe Dustin Hoffman.
Okay. Heart was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013. What was that experience like?
Well, it was really unusual because in the Rock Hall, they want a live performance by the original band. And the original Heart band from Canada, we haven't played together for 40 years. So
wow.
So we got together with them and played a couple of the old songs, Barracuda and Crazy on You. And it really struck me that band just sounded so different than the way the band I'm in now sounds.
Right.
I mean, the 2013 version of Heart just had a whole different swing factor to it, and the original lineup sounded way more like up and down, left and right, not that swingy.
Gotcha. I've heard some people describe it as when you're getting together with these old band members, it's like getting together with an ex-husband or, an ex-boyfriend or something, and you're trying to make it work for that one night.
You got it. Yep, you got it. That was exactly what it was. And, like whatever problems we had with each other had long since just disappeared, like water under the bridge. So we didn't have emotional issues or anything. It was just awkward.
Yeah. And you have worked with so many different people over the years. Is there anyone out there that you haven't worked with yet that you'd like to?
Oh, wow. I can't think of like anybody that I want to duet with. Is that what you're asking?
Or just anything. Anybody you want to play on one of your records, or anybody maybe you want to perform with? Anything.
Oh, well, yeah, I think Lizzie Hale would be an interesting person to perform with. Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
What's been the best part of it all for you, Ann? Just the most rewarding part of your career?
Oh, well, without a doubt, the best part of it for me is the actual time on stage when everything's going right and when I feel good physically and the music sounds great and everybody's just happening on all thrusters. That's close to feeling divine, you know. It's hard to describe how sublime that is. It's more than just rock. I don't know, it's almost spiritual.
How old were you when you knew you wanted to do music for a living or you wanted to be a rock star?
I was 14.
And how long after getting started did you know, okay, this is it. I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life? Or did you not know? Are you?
So I make that decision every day. But I think it was somewhere in my 20s. I just couldn't imagine doing any other job, and I still can't imagine retiring. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I'm just not going to think about that right now.
And what's the best way to stay connected with you?
I've got a website, and it's annwilson.com, and that's a really up-to-date, up-to-the-minute thing. So if you want to stay connected with me, there's social media, and there's the website.
Excellent. Well, Ann, thank you so much. Congratulations on the new album, Fierce Bliss, due out April 29th. Loving this first single, Greed. And we really hope to see you in D.C. with your new band at some point.
Well, thank you. Hope to see you too.
Thanks, Ann. Have a great weekend and best of luck.
Okay, thanks a lot. You too.
We're gathered here today to join Mike and Jill in holy matrimony.
So they may file jointly this tax season.
And you are?
April from TaxAct, the tax filing software with the expert guidance to help you file for less and get more.
Works for me. So, Mike, do you take this woman to love, honor, and get her a maximum refund?
I do.
Jill?
Ditto.
I now pronounce you married, filing jointly.
I always cry at filing status updates.
TaxAct.
Switch to TaxAct today and start for free.
See taxact.com for details.